Hello and welcome to Magnetic Rise. I am your host, Cikizwa Vilakazi, and this is the podcast where we uncover the real stories behind scaling B2B companies. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Cathy, founder of Virtual Cathy. Cathy, it's wonderful to have you here with us. Welcome to Magnetic Rise.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So I would like to begin with your story. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What do you do? And also what led you to start Virtual Cathy?
Absolutely. My name is Cathy Baillargeon. I reside in Vancouver, Washington, and I am the owner of a US-based virtual assisting agency called Virtual Cathy. We provide remote administrative support to small business owners as well as nonprofit organizations across the country, as well as several other additional countries. And what really got me started on this path was when I was working for a consulting firm, business management consultant, and it didn't matter the how large a business was, how long it had been around. It didn't matter if it was startup to well-established businesses. All business owners were just inundated with admin work that I saw in my own local business community. And it really hindered them to really get into kind of that bird's eye view of their organization. And so thought, this is a prevalent issue. I really want to find a solution to this. This was back in 2018. And I knew that virtual assisting was becoming more mainstream and wanted to offer a solution. So created Virtual Cathy to be a solution for my own local business community that grew from there.
Awesome. I absolutely love the concept and the story of how you started. We recently had a guest, M. Curtis, and his advice to our audience was that stop trying to create something new, rather try to solve a problem. And that's actually been the result of your success. So that's awesome. Looking back, what were some of the key moments or milestones in your journey to building a business that operates across many states and countries?
Well, there's a handful of learning opportunities that I have learned along the way. One is sometimes you have to downsize internally in order to scale up externally. That was a very difficult lesson as a business owner, a boss of a team of 20 plus individuals, where I realized the more complex things got, the harder it was to manage. And so sometimes you have to take a step back in your own business to figure out, okay, are things working for us? And so being able to downsize a bit and scale back really allowed us to push forward in scaling further. Simplifying is key. And then another learning milestone was so my team is completely 100% remote. And even when I had my first employee, I had realized working remotely, it was important, even with one employee on my team, how important company culture was, even at that small of stage. And that's really what has grown our business, is the company culture that I have really worked hard on building. And it's that has been absolute key to the great, amazing team that we have today.
What's a key piece of advice you'd give to leaders looking to scale without losing their core values or culture?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think the doubling down on the culture that you want to have, even if it's not exactly there yet, is paramount. There is support for business owners in so many different ways than the traditional way of thinking that we used to have, which is I'm going to hire a part-time or even a full-time individual in-house, and we're going to just have to figure the cost of that out. No longer is that the case, where there's so many niche support that organizations can bring on in a much more affordable manner. And so being able to kind of see, okay, what does the business actually need? What does that look like? And, the affordability factor is always important. Sometimes we get a bit of like our ego kind of gets in the way, and we really want to have this big, enormous team. And then sometimes we just find ourselves kind of bleeding money because of that. And so find something that works within your organization, figure out if that is an option, get something fractional, remote support, something that, even 10 hours a month might be beneficial. You don't have to kind of go all in, all invested when receiving support in your business.
And whilst trying to keep internal operations balanced from a personal perspective, professional perspective, how do you then ensure alignment between your team's skills and your clients' needs?
Ooh, that's a great question. Training is like absolutely paramount for our team because it is so important. Everybody works remotely. We have to make sure that there is a standard and a consistency in the service that we provide, but that looks so different between our clients' needs versus the skill sets that our team has. So being able to have a really good level of communication, not only with our team, but with our clients as well, is how we're able to kind of maintain the standard of service that we want to provide. And so being able to opening up that conversation, being readily available to receive feedback from our clients right out of the gate is going to help us create that expectation on both sides. They know what to expect from us. We know what to expect from them. And then finding the best fit on our team that can support them the best way it's one of the things that we really pride ourselves in, being able to provide such a customized service to our clients.
Definitely. Oh, sorry. One of my plugs tripped there, sorry. Okay. So I was leading into the next question. So working within the virtual atmosphere, sorry. It's pretty new for a lot of companies, if we're being honest, especially since 2019, COVID, the lockdowns, everything that happened. Not all
Yes.
companies were operating virtually or even considered having to work virtually. So with that being said, what's one misconception about running a business in the virtual industry that you'd like to debunk that you've seen being played out?
Ooh, there are a lot of industries that have kind of negated even considering remote work. Maybe it was because of the experience that they had. Perhaps they hired somebody overseas, and that experience wasn't what they were thinking, or maybe they feel like the support, in country is too expensive. Uh, there's so many in betweens. I think there's this because our industry is not really standardized. There's so many different levels of experience and service. The great thing is that there's something out there for everyone. Whether it's it's based off of price range, type of service, type of skill set. I think there is kind of this misnomer like if I need to do something virtual, it has to be overseas, or it's too expensive, or I do believe that there's so many people who have worked in such a traditional role where they think that it's just never going to work unless somebody is in house, or they actually have somebody physically in an office. And so a lot of times, especially people who are starting their business and maybe they're working out of their house, they don't think that receiving support is going to be an option for them unless they go a more traditional route, get an office, bring somebody in. And so they end up just completely overwhelmed in their day to day because they're not asking for help and not have the ability to delegate, work out. And so, I mean, it's so hard for them to see how they can make a scalable organization, like be scalable, because they've had this mindset where it's like, oh, if they're not in person, an in-person support person, I can't delegate.
And I would assume that's then where you would step in.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So then what sets Virtual Cathy apart from other virtual assistant services?
There's so many out there. One thing that we provide is a customized service. So what our clients' priority tasks might be on day one might be vastly different in day 90 or, 3 months down the road. And we're able to, because we're an agency, because while there's always an assigned VA, we can pool our skill set. There's somebody for everyone. Um, it, it really allows us to grow and scale with our clients. And so there's a lot of times where maybe the VA no longer has available hours to provide. And so then the business owner is stuck thinking, I'm going to have to hire a whole nother person to replace this person. And so that's one thing that we have been able to do successfully with our clients while they scale. And as our administrative needs change and evolve, we're able to evolve and scale with them.
Awesome. Would you be in a position to share any of your success stories that you might have with people that you've worked with?
Oh gosh. Yeah, it really runs the gamut. There's this one horse trainer that I remember at one point she called me up and she just started crying because she felt like she had her life back. Uh, people get into their business because they're good at what they do. They love what they do. And a lot of times that has nothing to do with admin work, right? And so
Mm.
here's this horse trainer who just really wants to work with the horses and figure out all the classes. And then the admin was just overwhelming for her. And so not only was she able to focus in what she wanted to do, which was horses, it also freed her up to spend time with her family, which was important to her at the time. We've seen a lot of organizations, nonprofit organizations, who had been able to keep key people in the organization who had become overwhelmed with their admin. And so when they brought in a virtual assistant to assist that one staff member, relieve that pressure, it doesn't even have to be that executive director. They were able to have that staff member really focus in on more important tasks, more prioritized tasks. And that person no longer felt like they had to step out of the organization in order to regain some kind of balance and peace. So that has always been, we're here to be in the background and we're here to support, whether it's the business owner, the executive director, or already existing staff people, to allow them some time to breathe and refocus. That's always a big win for us.
Definitely a big one. And it makes a lot of a difference, especially for people who are actually more involved, more passionately with what they do. Admin is not something you necessarily look forward to dealing with.
Yeah.
And yeah. Okay. Finally, what's one piece of advice you'd share with entrepreneurs listening today who are trying to grow their businesses and stay true to their vision?
This is a good one. It's so hard to pick one. I would have
You
to
can share
say,
more than one.
okay, oh, good. I would have to say, okay, I'd like to share two. And again, it's not necessarily because of what we do, but because I have seen time and time again working with hundreds of different organizations. If you are a solo entrepreneur and you are getting to that point where things are no longer really fun, maybe your passion is lagging, or again, there's just not enough hours in the day to really
Mm.
focus in on the projects that you want to do, find some form of support, like that you can bring in. It can be as little as a couple hours a month. If that would free up enough time for you to scale your business, to get, land more clients, to work on a project that really fuels you, it's so worth it. Don't feel like you have to do everything. So
Mm,
many people feel that way. And then
mm,
the second one, which is a little bit more broad, is always be thinking, regardless of how new you are in your business, how new the industry is, always be thinking about how to make your organizational, like the operations of your company scalable. So if you are, like, for example, when we moved away from writing proposals for each individual client interested in our services, and then moving to a more concise plan purchase through our website, that really just took that proposal writing out of the window. That really allowed us to scale exponentially, to make things much easier for the client as well as us. And that just was one of the foundational pieces to really allow us to scale to 7 figures, as well as grow our team to just open up time and operations through that.
mm. Cathy, thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing so much of your journey, wisdom, practical advice. It's actually been really inspiring and actionable for anyone looking to grow their businesses. Before we go, where can our listeners find you or learn more about Virtual Cathy?
Absolutely. You can check out our website at virtualcathy.com. That's Cathy with a C. We are on all majority social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. And yeah, we, regardless of where you're at, or if this is something that you're thinking about, especially in the new year coming up, start with a conversation. I'm always happy to be a resource for anybody who might be considering, but just not quite sure what that looks like, how that works. Um, Always happy to have a conversation.
That's amazing. Thanks again, Cathy. And that's all for this episode of Magnetic Rise. Please don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and join us next time for more inspiring conversations with business leaders and innovators. Until next time, keep rising and staying true to your purpose and values. Thanks, Cathy.
Thank you.